Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's end-of-day world currencies, stock markets and commodities wrap-up for Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. Kicking things off, I'm Victoria Cashmore. Key world currencies show mixed performance against the greenback. The US dollar gained a full percent against the Swiss franc, while making smaller gains against the euro and Japanese yen. Strong negative trends persist across most major pairs. Looking at returns, the euro and Swiss franc pairs show positive week-to-date gains, while both experiencing significant month-to-date declines exceeding 5%. Year-to-date, most major pairs show substantial negative returns near 10%. Among Asian currencies, the offshore yuan stands out with a strong positive trend against the dollar, breaking upward after 3 days of consolidation. The Canadian dollar strengthened for a second consecutive day, breaking downward from its recent sideways movement. Return metrics show the offshore yuan as the only currency pair with positive month-to-date returns at 0.62%. The New Zealand dollar pair shows notable weakness, with nearly 5% month-to-date decline and over 6% year-to-date losses.
Looking at global stock market tracking ETFs, I'm Max Profit. China led gainers, rising 3% to 50.90. Hong Kong broke upward from consolidation, gaining 2.9%. Chile continued its strong momentum, up 2.8% for its seventh straight positive close. Week-to-date returns show China and Chile leading with gains over 3%. Chile stands out with the strongest year-to-date performance, up 23.4%, while Germany has gained 19.5% this year. Among underperforming markets, New Zealand and Malaysia showed weakness, declining 0.65% and 0.56% respectively. Turkey remains in a strong downward trend, while showing flat price movement over the past 5 days. Year-to-date performance shows Taiwan down 14.3% and Turkey declining 11.7%. Malaysia, Denmark, and New Zealand are all showing year-to-date losses between 4% and 7%.
Considering commodities, I'm Liquidity. Gold futures showed a very strong upward trend despite closing down at 3,392, dropping 33.30. Copper futures rose significantly, gaining 2.5% to 4.85. Palladium futures continued its bearish trend, declining for a second consecutive day. Year-to-date returns show gold futures leading with a 28.4% gain, while copper futures follows at 20.4%. Aluminum futures has struggled, down 7.9% for the year. Month-to-date, gold shows strength with a 7.7% increase. In energy markets, Brent crude rose 1.5% to 66.33, breaking upward after 3 flat days. Heating oil and gasoline futures both showed similar patterns, advancing 2% and 1.6% respectively, each breaking from recent consolidation. Performance metrics show energy futures struggling this month, with natural gas down 26.4% and crude oil declining 11.1%. Gasoline futures remains the only positive performer year-to-date, up 4.5%. Livestock markets showed mixed results. Live cattle futures surged 3.2% to 206.57, with strong upward momentum. Lean Hogs dropped sharply by 5.9%, while Class II milk jumped 5.8%. Looking at returns, Lean Hogs leads year-to-date with a 13.5% gain, despite today's sharp decline. Feeder cattle shows consistent strength, up 9.2% this year, while Class 2 milk lags down 9.5%. In grain markets, wheat futures extended its losing streak to 4 days, showing strong downward momentum. Oat futures fell sharply by 4.3%, while soybean futures remained relatively flat at 1,046.25. Monthly returns show corn futures leading grains with a 5.6% gain. Rough rice continues its downward trend, falling 1.8% today and now down 5% for the year. Soybeans maintain modest gains of 3.5% year-to-date. In soft commodities, cocoa showed notable strength, rising 4.2% with upward volatility and 4 consecutive positive closes. Coffee futures advanced 2.7%. Cotton and sugar both broke upward from recent consolidation patterns, while orange juice edged higher. Looking at returns, cocoa shows impressive week-to-date gains of 9.4% and month-to-date returns of 14.8%. Orange juice presents a stark contrast, down 9% for the week, despite a positive month-to-date return of 13.5%. Year-to-date, only coffee maintains positive returns at 17.2%.
And with that, we conclude another end-of-day world currency, markets and commodities wrap-up. I'm Victoria Cashmore, along with my AI co-hosts Max Profit and Liquidity. Thanks for watching. Look for daily wrap-ups every day just after 5 p.m. New York time. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency and commodities. Thanks for watching.